Who is Amy Beach? Amy Beach was a prodigy in the 1800s. She, I think, could play the piano and sing by 4 years old adeptly, and she was just this incredible force of nature when she performed, and she toured all over the place performing concert piano in the 1800s until she got married, and her husband forced her to limit her performances to 2 a year so that she could stay home and be a wife and be a mother. We are in Gold Coast Flooring Supply in Hicksville, Long Island, which is my dad's flooring company. So my dad made the great offer that we could use this space, and there's a lot of open floor, so it works really well for the dance rehearsals. The only difficulty is just that there are no mirrors, but there aren't going to be mirrors at the performance, so it's a good way for them to practice and wean off that crutch of the mirror. My old high school is giving me the performance space, and I mean, my old dance studio gave me the dancers. It means a lot to work with Norma's students. 2 of the girls that are in the production I danced with in high school for the last 2 years, and the other 4 were all younger than me, but I, always saw them at Norma's and watched them in the recitals, and it means a lot. It's very sentimental for me to be doing my first piece of choreography with people that I know are my friends and people that I know I'm safe with and that I'm comfortable with working with in the room. So it's been a really sentimental experience. I think the music is perfectly suited for this project. And actually, I didn't know any of Amy Beach's story before I chose the music. I was just looking for female classical composers. And I found Amy Beach, and I listened to her piano concerto, and it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever heard. And I knew I had to use it, and then I went into research like a week into rehearsals, and I realized that her life is the parallel of the story. This, I believe, was one of the first pieces that she composed. And there's so much tension in the music, and it starts minor and it ends minor, and the whole time the music is striving to get to this major place, and it arrives at this moment of these major chords and these beautiful melodies for a minute maybe tops, and then it gets pulled down into this dark minor place where you can really feel her angst and her aggression. I mean, when she couldn't perform anymore, she turned to composition as a means of artistic expression that she could no longer get from performance. And I really think that you can hear her pain and her sadness at having to give up this life as a performer for her husband, really. A main motivation for creating this piece was the women in my life. This past semester, I had the great gift of being in Dean Allison Green's lecture for freshmen at NYU Tisch, where I attend. And she spoke about so many incredible life experiences, and she herself was a choreographer and a dancer, and she said to us, do something that means something to you, because if it doesn't mean anything to you, you're not going to want to do it. And she told us that everybody's going to ask you for experience. Everybody's going to say, what have you done? But nobody's ever going to hand you experience. Nobody's ever going to say, here's something to do. So you have to make your experience. You have to say, I'm going to do this. And I felt that I needed to do something for women and for gender equality, and to shine a light on the historic oppression and limitation of women, and how, even though we like to think, oh, that was just in the 1950s, you know, women don't do that anymore, gender equality is so present today. And it's not just women, it's men. You know, there are inequalities across the board between both genders. And I think the more that we can open up a dialogue, and the more that we can talk about gender inequality and talk about the differences in what we're allowed to do and what we're expected to do, the closer we get to bridging that gap and making that connection where we can say we're all equals. And the more art that we create about the subject, the more dialogue there's going to be. So I thought creating an art piece would be good. And I am definitely surrounded by incredible women in my life. I mean, my mother is an educator, was an educator. My sister is studying to be a biomedical engineer. All of my aunts and cousins are all incredible women who have real dreams and have real passions and fight for them and strive for them. And it astounds me to think that there was a time when they would have been discouraged, where my sister might have been told, you can't be a biomedical engineer, men are scientists. That breaks my heart, and I think about it and I feel as though I needed to do something.